If the 1.8 million is not coming from out of our funds, right?
Right.
And if the study may or may not help, I think we should go with trying to help. Because what are we losing? If we can get jobs, what are we losing? $1 million is not coming out of our money. It's coming somewhere else.
Tax
And they're saying that it's not coming out of Franklin Parish.
It don't matter.
If you pay taxes, you're paying.
We pay state taxes, we pay
You're
federal
paying the
taxes.
part of the 1.8 million.
Yeah, we pay federal and state.
Excuse me, sir.
So that's where this money has to be coming from. Federal and state.
But the bottom line is the money's going to be used for something. I'm just being honest with you. It's going to be used for something.
Why not have Franklin Parish?
Yes, ma'am.
Question about the 1.8 million. Is it an all or nothing? What if we're only able to gather $1 million for the project? What would happen then? Will a portion of the study be conducted, or will we? And who actually solicits the funds, and who actually receives the funds? Who controls the money? In other words.
Whatever.
One of the things, well, again, 1.8 million was an estimate. It was a rough estimate, so we don't know.
So maybe 2.5.
Well, they gave us a high estimate, so it'll be somewhat less than 1.8. But we don't really know the exact amount until the engineers, the architects, and the consulting firm all come together and begin to look at what it's going to entail.
But to answer my question, what happens if only a portion of the funds are collected? How does the process only start when you have the complete amount of money that's deemed necessary?
That question is somewhat difficult for me to answer. When we spoke with the companies that are involved, they're good at what they do. And what they do is they go out and they secure funds to do the studies. And they feel very comfortable that they could raise the monies to do the studies.
And the issue of the competitive bids came up at least the last council meeting. Have any of those been obtained so far?
No, because we needed to first see if this was something that the town's people was interested in even moving forward.
I got a question. Before you do a study, wouldn't you want to contact all your landowners around this project to see if they even want it?
That's part of it. That's part of the study. That's all a part of it. You're right. You're absolutely right about it. It's inclusive. And that's part. This is part of it.
You got a bunch of landowners that probably not going to be wanting this, that you're going to go out and have the study done before, if you do the study, and spend a lot of money before the landowners even agree to
Well, you wouldn't be able to move forward with the study if the landowner.
They're going to have to contact every landowner first.
You have to contact them.
I have a question. With the 1.8, excuse me, $1.8 million, would that be from a federal grant? Where are you going to get that money?
It's my understanding that there will be several grants that'll be sought after from both federal and state funds.
One thing.
Let me say one thing. I live on a very small street called Lane Street, and since I've been there, my little street floods every time it rains. And you're going to ask for $1.8 million, and I can't get anybody to dig a manhole to get the water off of Lane Street. And I've talked to everybody. To me, granted, you may, get that money and everything, but also there's money that can be used for the city of Winsboro to improve the streets and stuff around here. And I'm serious. My little house, not a big fancy house. I'm warm in the winter and I'm cool in the summer, and that's about it. But when it rains, the rain goes down and floods my carport and the side of my house, Miss Betty Thornhill's house, the old Smith house, and all the way down the street, and has done that. I've talked to the mayor one time, talked to Skipper. I've been trying to get in touch with my alderman, my police juror, and everybody says, we need to go talk to somebody else. I'd like part of that $1.8 million for Lane Street.
Well, you know what, maybe we won't use part of that 1.8, but you know, we definitely need to address your issue. And
Well, I'm serious. I'm serious.
I am very
My
serious as
plumber's
well. I'm
office
not-
is here. It rains and all the water from the street comes down off Hemlock Street.
see, I don't want you to think that I'm placating. I mean, I'm telling you, we need to deal with that. Yeah, we really do.
I have sandbags up. I should not have to have sandbags up in the middle of Winsboro around my farm.
Let me just add on to what she says. I totally understand you saying you guys have water and you're flooding.
Right.
The entire slough floods with Gustav, from the park to all the houses down there.
I know.
So we are all in agreement that we have a flooding and water issue. I think what we're trying to differentiate here is monies that can be used for that purpose and monies that cannot. And if I'm hearing you properly, and maybe you can correct me, I don't think this set of funds can be used for all of us. Because like you said, you're not the only one that's flooding. We're all in a very poor condition. And I totally agree that we need money or funds or grants, but I think that's another meeting. I think that's something that should be addressed because we have the same thing. You know, we're all.
Right. I understand that.
But here's my thing. If you don't take care of the drainage, you do put the Turkey Creek in there. We've already agreed we've got a flooding problem. So
Then you're gonna make it
you're
worse.
going to make it worse. Where is the water going to go when you go dam it up?
Have we done the studies to even determine that? Here's my point. If there are funds available to determine what is and what isn't, and I'm not smart enough at this point to answer those questions, and I don't think anybody else is. A feasibility study, from what I understand from my engineering background, tells you this is a dumb move, this is a good move. And I don't know if we're in a position, or why wouldn't we at least consider whether or not this money can be used for something, because otherwise, like you said, we may send it to Iowa. We're still going to be paying our tax dollars, but we'll get nothing from it. So my point is...
Well, why don't we necessarily, if we've got to get that, why can't we write a grant for something else?
I totally agree, but I just think that's another meeting. I totally agree.
Or a possibility.
I agree with that.
When we know that there are severe problems, flooding and everything else in Winsboro, why not write a grant to help us?
One of the things that has been happening, excuse me,
And I'm not disputing that. All I'm saying is let the record say that. Let the engineers show us on paper, because if that is the case, I totally. So.
McManus did it 2 or 3 years ago. The mayor was on the police jury at the time. And they spent that money. They spent that much money, nearly $1 million. And the police jury dropped that lake business. They stopped it. And now here it is again for all those people to try to fight. I'm tired of fighting the battle, but I will.
You speak up for what you believe in. And if that is the case, I totally understand your predicament.
I believe in, I don't want my house flooded. Ask anybody that's had it done. Ask this lady here how much fun it is.
We're all in agreement. That's
And
what
look,
I'm saying.
it was an awful. You mentioned over here on Ash
Excuse
Blue,
me.
a big part
Sir.
of that country went on.
sir,
water.
could we bring one of the things that the feasibility study will do for people living out in their community, it will show us ways to viably and to viably handle the flooding issue in that area. And also the city, well, you can believe that or not, but I'm telling you, the city has partnered with the police jury in trying to deal with some of the flooding issues in Winsboro. So that's something. If you recall, articles were written about that in the Franklin Sun, where the city is working hand in hand with the police jury to attempt to deal with a lot of the flooding issues. So believe me, we definitely understand the problem where flooding relates to the citizens of Winsboro and the surrounding area. It's a problem that we've all faced.
I'd just like to address one point. When we're speaking of the flooding area, the police jury has secured $4 million to work with nothing but the flood. That is to clean out Turkey Creek, from it is to clean out Ash Slough all the way down to the park itself. They have already secured $4 million for that amount. for that purpose.